I'm there.
Go.
Blink, 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 blink. Left. Withering.
Yeah, I'll do it when I'm well here.
Oh.
That's why you wanted it.
Yeah.
Good clutch.
I'm so close to my on. Oh my god. Just all the lightning smacks. ASMR.
Yeah.
Girl, where's you going? Alright, Titans. Storm's Keep has been a menace to society the entire episode of Heresy, blasting bosses with non-stop lightning through the usual barricade setup, plus Le Monarch and Thunderlord, and insert any arc weapon here. But what if I told you there was another challenger to the throne? Arguably the best of them all. Enter Outbreak Perfected. Outbreak is a match made in heaven with this current Storm's Keep meta in several ways. It's a kinetic primary, so it naturally has great super regeneration. It also has built-in bonus damage via Siva nanites, which also benefit your super regen, as well as damage on top of that. And if you have multiple users running Outbreak, the damage also increases on top of all of that. And why do I keep mentioning the super, you may ask? Well, currently at the time of recording, a Limit Break Thunder Crash can generate you roughly 1.4 million damage per use, and just as you saw with the opening clip, you were able to generate multiple supers in a single damage phase. So 3 Thunder Crashes in one phase would roughly get you about 4.2 million damage just from your supers alone. But that's not all. While all this is happening, we are also taking advantage of Storm's Keep and our Rally Barricade and pumping out constant lightning strikes onto whatever boss we want, and that'll net us about 50k damage per bolt charge as well. Add on top of that the respectable damage you'd be getting from Outbreak Perfected itself, and you have a recipe to cook almost any boss in the game. With that said, let's get into the build details while you watch me season bosses in the background like some rotisserie chicken. The best part about this build is it's very basic and straight to the point and requires no additional steps like loadout swapping or stacking a ton of buffs together. For our 2 exotics, we are running the previously mentioned Outbreak Perfected combined with Rewind rounds, which allows us to barely ever have to reload during a damage phase as long as we're landing our shots. And it's being joined by Curus of the Falling Star as our exotic armor piece. Curus is what allows us to hit Looney Tunes level damage numbers on bosses every time Outbreak will be feeding us our super. You could say this is our 1-2 punch combo. The expression, not the perk. Your other 2 weapons for this setup are literally anything you want. That's the beauty of this. You can just throw on a machine gun for ad clearing before damage, maybe sprinkle in a Psycho Pump for some extra bolt charge spam, or maybe you want to slot in an Eager Edge Sword for your heavy so you can zoom back to the DPS spot after landing your Thunder Crash. You can literally do whatever you want with these 2 slots. And now let's move on to the abilities portion of the kit. For our abilities, obviously our super is going to be Thunder Crash, and then our class ability we're going to be rocking Rally Barricade to synergize with Storm's Keep, which is one of our aspects. Next is our melee. So you have 2 choices here, at least in my opinion. You can go with Seismic Strike, which is basically shoulder charge but an arc, or you can go with Thunderclap. Both these are good, particularly Thunderclap, which will basically one-shot anything that's not a mini-boss or a boss, and then this will allow you to get amplified as soon as you get a melee kill, which would make your Limit Break alive instantly. For my grenade, I went with Pulse Grenade, as it's the best overall damage as a grenade in the arc kit for Striker, and then it also synergizes with one of my Fragments, which I'll get to in a second. The other aspect we're running with Storm's Keep is, by the way, Knockout. Now, everybody knows Knockout is a stupid ability, but I do want to just mention that this is what allows you to just get free amplified when you get a melee kill on basically anything. Well, that, and it also just gives you free instant healing, which is always nice. Now, I should note, because this will eventually get brought up in the comments, there is an easier way to become amplified or get an arc buff than using Knockout if you don't have to, which is popping your barricade. When you pop your barricade, this will just naturally give you amplified as well as bolt charge stacks, and both of those count as an arc buff towards limit break. So the only time you'll be using knockout is if you're in a situation where for some reason you don't have your barricade and you need an arc buff, aka amplified. Now for the fragments. We got 4 of them from left to right. The first is Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target or defeating a target with bolt charge creates an ionic trace. This is just basically, hey, I killed stuff with arc, I get free super energy. Next is Spark of Frequency. So the first part of this doesn't really matter, but the main thing we want from here is, while amplified, you gain increased stacks of bolt charge from all sources. So you just get your bolt charge faster, which means faster damage on a boss. Next is Spark of Shock. Your arc grenade jolts targets. So this is what I was alluding to with Pulse Grenade. I throw my pulse, I do good damage, it jolts, which does more damage. It's just a nice, easy way of doing extra damage. And then lastly, Spark of Resistance. When you're surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage, because survivability is never a bad thing. Let's also quickly go over the artifact mods for this build, which ones are crucial or at least very helpful. Starting with the third column at the very bottom, we have Elemental Siphon. Rapid Final Blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super, in this case Arc, will give you elemental pickups. With the boost, elemental pickups will grant you matching super energy when they are collected. So if you're in a boss fight that has you with enemies surrounding you at all times, kind of like happened with the Scions, they just keep spawning forever, then you can get a couple of extra kills rapidly with either Outbreak or an Arc weapon, which will then feed into your super and get it back for you faster. The next 3 are crucial to this build. First, we have Flashover. When you gain maximum bolt charge stacks, you also become amplified. Again, amplified is an arc buff, which feeds you into limit break. Then, you also do bonus damage with your lightning bolts. Following that, we have Defibrillating Blast, which is the worst written artifact mod in the history of Destiny 2. So, while this does give you a max stack of bolt charge when you stun a champion, and it also heals you, this also procs on any enemy that you hit with bolt charge. So if you're behind a barricade and you're just spamming bolt charge on a boss, you will continuously get these healing bursts when you do that. And lastly is Limit Break. Now I have a bone to pick with some people on here because people just don't read their perks. They just they read the first 3 words and they're like, oh, okay, well this sucks. So Limit Break states, casting a super while you're critically wounded or having an elemental buff matching your super element grants you a period of increased super damage. So you don't have to be only critically wounded to get the bonus damage from this. You just need a buff on your screen that matches your element. In this case, both Bolt Charge and Amplified count as arc buffs, which means when you have either of these on your screen, your Limit Break is live. Lastly, let's close this out with armor mods. So I'm going to mention the specific key ones here, not all of them. If you want to see all of the mods, I will have a dim link for this build down in the description below in case you want to try it out on your own. And while you're down there, you can also follow me on my other socials if you want. Up to you, whatever. Anyway, let's move on. Let's start with our helmet. We have a copy of Dynamo here, which states, reduces super cooldown when using your class ability near targets. So if you pop a barricade near a target, it reduces the cooldown of your super, and also, it gives you a small chunk of super energy just right off the rip for popping your barricade. It's fantastic for this. In my gloves, I have a copy of Bolstering Detonation, for when I throw my grenade, I will get some class ability energy back, just giving me my barricade back faster, which then I proc again to get faster bolt charge stacks when I'm doing DPS on a boss. I also have one copy of Kinetic Loader in my gloves for the event that I have to actually reload my Outbreak Perfected, so I can do it a little bit faster with this mod. Then on my boots, I have 3 copies of Kinetic Weapon Surge. Since Outbreak is the only weapon we're going to be firing on a boss, you might as well boost the damage of that weapon, so I have 3 Kinetic Weapon Surges. And then finally, in my class item, I have a copy of Time Dilation, although you can increase this to 2, just to make your armor charges last longer, depending on which boss fight you're doing and how long it is. And then I have 1 copy of Distribution, which reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets, and this does include your super. And that is the Bolt Perfected DPS build. Let me know what you guys think, try it out on your own, and see how it feels for you. In the meantime, if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. If you want to go the extra mile, you can leave a like and or a comment below as well. If you don't know what to leave as a comment, you could leave Bolt Perfected as the comment. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.